Right Reverend Sir and Madam Canon McCarthy and delegates and guests of convention, it's my honor to introduce the work of One in the Spirit, a new initiative of the Diocese of Los Angeles focused on deepening and broadening the mission of the church as outlined in our catechism to restore all people to unity with God and with each other. In response to the gospel call to be agents of reconciliation, we envisioned a recovery of our deep connection to each other and our world so we can participate more fully in the transforming work of love. What we plan to build together over the next 3 years is our capacity as a diocese to expand relationships and deepen connections across differences in order to strengthen our shared commitment to follow Jesus. Our aspirations include creating conversational communities to drive bridge building across differences that challenge and enrich us, such as diverse multicultural dioceses utilizing existing diocesan programs and resources, as well as creating new ones. We have audacious goals, but the challenges of this present day call for nothing less if we're going to be the change we want to see. These goals include to live more fully into our baptismal promises to respect the dignity of every single human being, to proclaim Christ's name to proclaim in Christ's name that we will not submit to our era's epic division and polarization, to understand better how barriers of class, race, language, nationality, culture, politics, geography, orientation, and identification blind us to the burning image of the divine in one another, to feed hearts that are hungry for connection and community in a secularizing and isolating age, and finally, to choose not to choose between challenging systemic oppression, which we must continue to do in all its forms, to not choose between that and respecting the dignity of every single human being, including those on the other side of any issue, any challenge, or any division that threatens to divide us. As 21st century Anglicans, we are the spiritual descendant of 16th century Anglicans who chose not to choose between being Catholic and Protestant at a time when it was seemingly impossible, when people were literally burning each other at the stake over theological differences. Claiming that DNA of Anglican comprehensiveness, we are uniquely wired as a community of faith to offer an antidote of hope and joy to the destructive and pervasive narratives of anxiety and fear that fuel division and polarization in our church, our nation, and our world. We are convinced that claiming that core piece of our Anglican identity will equip us to do the work of bridging the differences that challenge us as 21st century disciples, whether those differences are theological or political, cultural or generational, or any other category that anybody thinks up to try to divide us. Our initial task is to pull together a diverse team of leaders from around the diocese who will initially work on a process of collaborating and collating, doing an inventory of what programs, projects, and initiatives are already underway, already doing that core gospel work of reaching across difference and imagining together what we can create, to both amplify the existing work and to create new opportunities that don't yet exist. We have begun by calling a truly stellar team as our steering committee, and I hope some of them are here to come join me on stage. We sent out 9 letters of request, and we got 8 yeses within the first 24 hours. So the idea, the reality that this work has hit a nerve with those in our community is deeply gratifying, and I hope that you will join me in thanking these stellar leaders, some of them moving to the podium, who will be part of our One in the Spirit steering committee. I want to close with these words from our presiding bishop's opening remarks to Executive Council last month. Words that are germane not just to this work of One in the Spirit, but also to our work in the world in this time of conflict, division, and polarization. Bishop Curry said, "The United States is being torn asunder by the inability to be in deep relationship with each other and yet hold differing positions and convictions. And the test of this democratic experiment will be the capacity of this particular nation to hold differences in the context of deep and real human relationships. I really believe that Jesus was right, that the way of love doesn't mean the way of agreement, but it means the capacity to love each other and therefore to seek the good together, whether we agree or disagree. This is the democratic experiment. It is not just a religious platitude. Dr. King once said, history is replete with the bleached bones of civilizations that have refused to listen to the words to love your enemies and to bless those who curse you. We must not become a dry valley of bones. And frankly, the only way is the way of love. There is no other way. And maybe, just maybe, this wonderful little church of ours can offer that, this way of love to the body politic, not for partisan ends, but to change how we relate to each other as human beings. And then, said our presiding bishop, we will see what happens. Together, we will see what happens here in this Diocese of Los Angeles as One in the Spirit draws us even more fully into our call to be beacons of God's love, justice, and compassion in this beautiful and broken world. Thank you for the privilege of being a partner in this important work. God bless you all, and thank you.
Come on back up. I want to make sure everyone knows everyone's names. So joining Susan in this work is Risa Worthy-Deemer, Gary Hall, Jennifer Pavia, Suzanne Edwards-Acton, Peter Wong, Antonio Gallardo, Norma Guerra, and Karen James.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.